Shalom, shalom. All right, Most High in Christ. You're tuning live. Isupk, Virginia, Biblical Scripture Breakdown class with Priest and Captain 10,000 Not Isaac Nishah. You understand? The Isupk here with Virginia. Getting to these scriptures. Everybody just make sure you sign in for attendance. I'll give everybody a few moments to get into class. All right. Sure to type your questions into the chat, into the messenger. All right. All right. Get in here. According to the Bible, Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans are God's chosen people. We've been in captivity for centuries under new names, new identities, new lands, and it's drawing near for our time to return back to our homeland. At the end of our captivity is almost here. All the wars, everything you see going on, preparing. France had to be denied bombing Ukraine. I mean, not Ukraine, but flying through and bombing Niger, because all the French have been put out of Niger because the Hamites, the Africans, want their country back. They tired of getting robbed and exploited by the oppressor, even though they set up and worked out deals with him so that they can get rich for centuries by selling us. And of course, the oppressor, being the devil that he is, was able to finesse and rob them blind for decades and decades more. Now they finally getting tired of it because you brothers and sisters are waking up, turning back to your heritage, turning back to your identity, getting out of the church, out of the mosque, out of Islam, out of Christianity, and coming back to our true heritage, being the chosen people of God in the Bible. You understand, the Israelites, that's speeding up biblical time frame. You understand, that's moving the prophecies along. So we're going to talk about a few prophecies in the Bible. Of course, you got any questions? Shalom, the brothers, Yahweh Shim Yahweh Shabbarakatham. To the sisters, Yahweh Shamar Alathun. By Shim Yahweh Shai, everybody watching, make sure that you sign in for attendance so that the officer that is keeping attendance will be able to get you down for your time frame to receive your name, become an official part of the school, and also your attendance keeping and records as well. All right. So why are these things happening? We're going to turn to Joel or Joel. Some people might call it Joel. Some might call it Joel. We're going to go to Joel chapter 3 and the first verse. Because this is what's going on right now, and it's happening so much that the world is being shaken. So many things going on at once. These, of course, are biblical prophecies that no one knew about, that the Lord gave unto the prophets thousands and thousands of years ago before we ever even went into captivity. The Lord gave these prophecies to the prophets, to Joel, to Daniel, Ezekiel, Isaiah, Ezra, Nehemiah, for in the latter times, which are the days that we are in now. You understand? So we got Joel, the third chapter. The scripture says, for behold, that means look, saying to look at something, to observe something. The day, in those days, in that time when Joel was saying this, the Lord told him to say it. Those days had not happened. This was a future prophecy when he said it at that time, some thousands of years ago. Now, these are those days. All right. These are those days that the Bible was talking about. And in that time, this is the time that the Bible was talking about, those days and in that time. All right. When I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. When he says bring again, that means he's going to call it back up to remembrance. He's going to bring it back up. Right now, the entire world has forgotten and moved on a very long time ago from the murder, from the unaliving of the tribe of Gad, of the North American Indians, the Native Americans, the 77 million that the oppressor created, that he murdered, he slaughtered when they left from Spain, when they left from England and French and Ireland. They came over to this land they called the New World. and they slaughtered our people by the tens, hundreds of millions, 77 million of the tribe of Gad alone, countless millions of the tribe of Isupk, so-called Mexicans, who are also Native Americans. Texas belongs to the Mexicans. California belongs to the Mexicans. You understand? In order for oppressors, white men from England and Europe, to move to California, Texas, and Mexico, they had to mass genocide our brothers, the tribe of Issaquah. That's the only way that anyone else who is not Mexican or so-called Native American or Seminole Indian, that is the only way anyone else is in America. You understand? We came here in captivity, so-called Negroes. We were in captivity. You understand? Everyone else that was already here, the oppressor murdered so many of them so that they can set themselves up in power to where they are to this day, to where later on they shared the wealth that they got from murdering us with the Chinese, with the East Indians, the Koreans, the Vietnamese, the Japanese, the Arabs and Africans, the Afghans, the Russians, the Ukrainians, the East Indians, the Pakistanis, every people on the earth, the Filipinos, everyone on the earth was able to get a piece of this wealth and this power that our oppressor only had because they were able to enslave us, murder us, take our inventions, use hundreds of years of free labor for the best laborers ever in human existence. You understand? They tracked us down from the West Coast, from our home in the Middle East. When we fled the 70 AD destruction, they tracked us down from our homes. We ran from our capital city in Jerusalem. You can read this in the book From Babylon to Timbuktu, page 84, page 90. It tells you what we were doing in Africa. We were leather workers, iron workers. We were mathematicians. We were translators. We were bankers and revenuers. We knew how to keep money, how to keep a treasury. That's what's contained in the laws in the Bible. How to maintain and manage a bank and finances, social services and security. That's contained in the Bible. You understand? A welfare system, a whole system on how to take care of the sick and the poor and the infants, how to deal with your land, how to farm and rotate crops and work the land, and how to slaughter animals, how to put them in a safe place so that you don't have livestock running through and your ox and your bull and your goats killing people in the city when they stampede. These are laws. All of these are contained in the Bible, which is why it is so criminal that the Christian church teaches our people that we don't have to keep God's laws in the Bible. God's law, saying that is literally like saying, wake up in the morning, don't brush your teeth, wash your face, or wash your behind. You understand? Baptism is a law in the Bible of washing your behind on a regular basis. Somebody gets sick, somebody gets blood on them, somebody dies, something gets contaminated. You understand? They got stuff oozing out of them. They got some illness. Contaminate them, wash them, keep them separate for a period of time, wait till they get better before reintroducing them into society. All of these things that are commonplace now have absolutely revolutionized the planet to the point where if you don't have these things that come from our laws contained in the Bible, like what I just mentioned to you, we got safety permits and regulations. We got construction site regulations, how to build your house, how to build your roofs, how to make sure that things are sanitary, that there's no mold growing in your house. All of that is contained in the Bible. You understand? Now there's the World Health Organization, the National Journal of Health, this Journal of Medicine. You understand? All of these different international organizations that get their basis for the reason why they operate from our laws, statutes, and commandments that God gave us in the Bible, that the Lord said if we obeyed him, every nation would look at us as a wise and understanding people. But our religious leaders teach us that they don't matter. And now we are the people that are at the bottom everywhere. And everyone is comfortable with the idea that they can go to Jamaica, they can go to Trinidad, they can go to Puerto Rico, And the Chinese, the Arabs, the Asians, the East Indians, they can all set up shops and businesses and believe they have a right to get rich while they starve our people to death and oppress us. Same in Central and South America with the Japanese and the Koreans and the Africans and the Chinese. You understand? That's how you know we're not Africans, because the Africans is putting the white man from France, they kicking them out of Niger. The French wanted to bomb them for putting white people out of their African country, for robbing Africans blind. And the neighboring African countries said, hell no, we're not going to allow you to fly into our airspace to unalive and bomb Africans, because you've been able to pirate and parasite off of other nations of people for centuries. You understand? That's the whole wealth that the Europeans have, from the French, from Spain, from Portugal, from England, from Rome, Italy, Germany. Their whole wealth is from robbing and pillaging all across the world. And everywhere they've had to pay, and everyone has been able to get justice except for these 12 tribes, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So in Joel, the 3rd chapter, when the Lord told the prophet Joel to say this, he said, in those days, which we are in those days now, Joel was not in those days at the time the Lord told him to say it. You understand? And just as a sidebar, serving the Most High is not based on what you understand. It's not based on what you want and what you like, what you understand, what you think is a good idea, what you can understand, what feels nice and relevant to you. That's not what serving the Lord is about. Because if Joel decided, I don't know what that got to do right now, we here dealing with this problem, and decided to not obey the Most High, you understand, these prophecies would have had to come by the way of another man, instead of him being remembered forever and ever by obeying the Most High and saying what the Lord told him to say. You understand? Just because he was an obedient servant, this is a prophecy that the Lord told him to lay down that's for us right now, that wasn't for him at the time. You understand? So you want to make sure that you remember that when you serve in the Most High. Everything is not about you. There's no personal salvation. You understand the things that you do, you might not see the effect of serving the Most High and obeying the Lord and following orders and obeying your camp leader and signing in for attendance. You might not see the effects and the purpose for that, but it don't matter what you see. The disciples didn't understand a damn thing Christ taught him. They didn't understand nothing. Christ told them to stop dipping people in water. They didn't understand that. They were doing it long after he died. They didn't know. You understand? So don't limit you serving the Most High to your own understanding. There are men above you that God gave understanding to, and you follow their orders. And lo and behold, eventually someone might be reading about you several thousands of years later, like we reading about Joel right now. So when the scriptures say, Joel 3:1, for behold, in those days and in that time, which we are in that time now, Shalom, boy, Lord of Christ, when I shall bring again, I'm going to bring this subject back up, the slavery, the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, of these 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, that nobody wants to hear about our crimes, our problem, our plight, us getting killed, us being murdered. There's millions of our people in prison, but there's no stop the Negro hate bill. There's no stop a Latino hate bill. They got babies in dog cages. They lost tens of thousands of Latino babies. Our brothers, our family. America just go on like it's normal. America runs on Dunkin'. You understand? Get your coffee, get your eggs, get your bacon, and it's business as usual. Everyone thinks that that's fine. That's just normal. Well, the Lord is getting ready to make every people, every nation, every race of people on the planet is about to pay for what their people and forefathers did and are doing to these 12 tribes, and also what they did not do to take care of the children of God while they did what was best for themselves and their people. Like those Ethiopians who told the Jamaican brothers to live in the damn woods after the Benjamite brothers from Jamaica, who love and worship Haile Selassie, foolishly went to Ethiopia to worship the Ethiopians and found out that not only were they not given citizenship, they told them Negroes to go and live in the woods and cut down trees and make a way for yourself. And at every turn, they begged the Ethiopians to even show the slightest bit of kindness to the Jamaicans, either in Jamaica or in Ethiopia. They said, we'll look into it. We ain't gonna do nothing like that. I don't know, Haile Selassie. No, we ain't gonna do nothing like that. No, we're not gonna give you citizenship. Like, you're gonna pay for not being kind to the children of God. Or you carry out owners, or you liquor store owners, or you Arabs, Africans, and East Indians selling dope and crack pipes all in the gas stations and stores, or your weed, fentanyl, and K2 coming from China, all you heathens making up these drugs, all your drug cartels, you understand, full of heathens, all your Chechenians and all your Eastern European bloc countries, your dope smuggling, flooding our communities with heroin and PCP and fentanyl that you trafficking, all from Europe, all out of Amsterdam. The Lord is getting ready to make all of these nations pay for things that they have been taught it was acceptable to do because it's just good business. You own a farm, you get Mexicans, you get Salvadorians. They can only stay in the country if they're workers. You starve them to death, give them no toilet. They got to pee in the damn fields while they picking lettuce and onions. You don't pay them properly. You get money hand over fist. They build your cities, cut your grass, plant your trees. You take their babies, put them in a dog cage. You stand before the Senate and Congress and say, black people don't deserve clean drinking water. That's not a human right. You understand? The Lord is getting ready to plague every nation of people with world war, with pestilence, famine, starvation, death on a scale that has not been seen since the world began. An endless, open-ended warfare from continent to continent. You understand? I cannot stress this enough. You understand? Worse than World War I, worse than World War III, worse than the Civil War, worse than what happened with the Nazis and Stalin and Napoleon and the French and the Spanish Armada and the Portuguese conquistadors and Iraq and Al-Qaeda and the Taliban and Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein and Idi Amin and Mao Zedong and the royal founding fathers and the British Navy. Worse death on a scale that is so massive and unescapable that the Lord is going to touch every nation of people on the planet, and most of them won't know why. But you will, because you're in these classes. So Joel, the 3rd chapter, and verse 2, the Lord says, I will gather all nations. God is doing this. He said, I will gather all nations. All you silly Christians doing your prayers, lighting your candles, praying for peace, God don't want peace. God don't want peace. God doesn't want peace in Russia, not in the Ukraine, not in Africa, not in the Middle East, not in America, not in Canada, not in the islands. God don't want peace anywhere. This is the prophecies in the Bible. The Lord is stirring all of these wars up. The Lord is stirring these things up. This is his will. All you Christians in church, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy will be done, thy kingdom come. This is how the Lord's kingdom comes to pass. World War III. Empty grocery stores, empty supermarkets, empty gas stations, tanks in the street. World War III. Nuclear bombs, military destroyers, the Navy, the Air Force. That's all going to war. Every continent, all across the country. That's how Christ's kingdom, or the kingdom that all you Christians been praying for, that's how it happens. That's how it happens. And it's prophesied in the Bible. This is God's will. I will also gather all nations. The word all is everybody. And will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. The valley of Jehoshaphat is a big, huge stretch of land in the Middle East. It's a huge stretch of land. That's why the Euphrates River keeps drying up more and more and more. Stretching earthquakes in Turkey, drying the river up more and more. Earthquakes throughout the Middle East, super dry. So everyone can bring their tanks, their Apaches, their Helos, their Abrams, all of their rovers, their armies, their militaries to be drawn into this great endless warfare that no one can get out of. That's why the dollar is collapsing. That's why the Africans are putting the white men out of Africa. You understand? Once the European and American dollar collapse, the $1, $2 loaf of bread is going to become a $20 loaf of bread. The $5, this is going to be $30, $40. You understand? That's why it's imperative and why it was so foolish that Christian preachers told our people to join America when we were supposed to stay separate and build our own. That's why they had to stop the Chinese and the Japanese in America from buying hundreds of acres of farmland in Louisiana and Mississippi that black people don't even know about. Black people excited about jewelry and cars and chasing hoes, you understand, and voting for your leaders, while every other nation on the planet is preparing for war. Japan is trying to get a navy back together when they ain't had a strong military since getting bombed with Hiroshima and Nagasaki in the World War by America. You understand? That's why they buying up hundreds and hundreds and thousands of acres of farmland across America. Black people don't know nothing about it. You listening to fake Israelites telling you to vote, telling you to rape, telling you to leave your woman, telling you to get high, grow dreadlocks, go and start your own church, everything except for what the Lord said, and you're going to get sucked right into it. All blacks and Hispanics, you are not to join America's military. If you send your sons and daughters to the Army, Navy, Air Force, or Marines, you do not care about your children. You don't care about your family. You are simple, and you are going to be fed with this World War III that God is warning you about. This is why we've been saying God told us to tell you not to join another nation of people. Take your spirit from America. Take your spirit from America. How? By stop being Christians. Stop shaving your beard. Stop pledging allegiance to the flag. Stop rising for the national anthem. Stop voting for your leaders. Stop celebrating Christmas and Independence Day and Labor Day and Mother's Day and Father's Day and Thanksgiving. The Lord has been telling our people to take their spirit out of this empire, because he is about to release the death angel on this empire and all over the world. You understand? And he's doing it so that he can free the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, that without this, you will never be free from your dead-end jobs. Your children will never be free from the debt that you will leave them when you die. They won't ever be free. They can't keep the house because the state is going to take it because of the property taxes. You won't have enough money to be able to take care of them, to get them the proper education, because your religious leaders have stolen the money already. Your political leaders that get a regular budget to take care of the cities that you all vote them for, they've already pocketed the money. They're not concerned with stopping your shootings, fixing your families, getting you from out of jail. They're looking to the police to fix the problem. They're looking to the president to fix the problem. They're not interested in being the solution themselves, because it requires the Spirit of the Lord, and it requires our people to change. And you cannot get the Spirit of the Lord put on you outside of the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge, which is what we've been telling our people since the 60s, even though they chose everything else except for it. Except this time, there won't be anything else left. You understand? That's why God said, I'm going to draw all nations into the valley of Jehoshaphat in the Middle East and will plead with them there for my people. How does the Lord say he's going to plead with them? He's not going to beg. He's not going to cry. He's not going to hold up signs. He's not going to march. Won't be any picket signs. Won't be a million-man march. The Lord is pleading for his people. Every time you see the Isupk on street corners, the Lord is pleading for his people. You understand? The Lord is pleading for his people to turn back and obey him. for the crimes and the evil that have been done to us that nobody wants to hear about. Nobody thinks it matters. Being sold on auction blocks, 100 years of lynching, giving blankets of smallpox to the Gadites, starving us, taking our identity. Nobody thinks it matters. The Chinese with carryouts and liquor stores and nail salons, with the Vietnamese and the chicken spots by the Arabs. None of them think it matters that they are able to get wealth for their people because God's people are destroyed because of slavery. Well, they're going to be, the Lord is going to plead with them for the children of Israel, who they don't even know they aren't supposed to do it. They like an animal, which is unlike how blacks and Hispanics are. You would never think to go to China and set up a black soul food business. You would never go to China and try to sell the Chinese food. You wouldn't go to Korea and sell Korean food to them. You wouldn't do it because it's not in your spirit. You wouldn't go to the Middle East and try to sell the Arabs their Arab cuisine and Arab clothing to the Arab people. You wouldn't do that because your spirit is different from the other nations of people. They would all come to you in your community, in your cities, in your country, and set up shop and open their religions and spread their philosophy and their gods on top of you. They would do that because they don't have the conscience inside of them that you have inside of you, because you are the children of God and they are not. You understand? So when the Lord says, I will plead with them for my people, this is the pleading the Lord is talking about. Hold that. We're going to go to Isaiah chapter 66 and verse 16. You understand? This is what it means. The Lord said, for by fire and by his sword, war, missiles, 30 millimeter, you understand, Gatling rotary guns, the turrets, you understand, on top of the naval vessels and the destroyers. The Lord said, for by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh. You understand? And the slain of the Lord shall be many. You understand? He said he's going to plague all flesh with this fire and this sword. That's what's coming. You understand? And why did the Lord say this? He's going to plead for my heritage, Israel. We back in Joel chapter 3 and verse 2. We're going to start from the top. The Lord said, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations. They separated us amongst all nations. You understand? The only reason you call a Mexican is because the king of Assyria put the tribe of Isupk in slavery, and they fled from their home in the Middle East and came over a year and a half through the river Euphrates all the way to the other side of the world to where they are today and became the Aztecs and the Toltecs. The tribe of Gad is called a Native American, a North American, a Seminole, a Cheyenne, a Sioux, a Lakota, an Arapaho, a Navajo, a Cherokee, a Creek, a Muskegee. The only reason they're called that is because the king of Assyria put them in slavery during the time of 2 Kings, the 24th chapter. And they escaped slavery in the Middle East and came over to this side of the world. You understand? Before slavery by those people, we weren't blacks and Hispanics and Mexicans and Latinos and Puerto Ricans and Jamaicans and Trinidadians and Haitians and Negroes. We were all Israelites. He was Issachar, I was Judah, he was Gad, he was Reuben, he was Benjamin, he was Naphtali, he was Zebulun, he was Asher, he was Manasseh, he was Ephraim, he was Simeon. We were all Israelites. We were one family, one nation of people. And the Arabs, the Africans, the East Indians, the so-called oppressor, the white man, they all divided and sold us and changed our name, gave us their names, their titles, their religions, their culture, their way of life, and we have been under their foot ever since those days. Well, the Lord said he's going to bring them and all their children some hundreds of years later. He's going to plead with them with a fire and a sword so that the entire world can be put back in its proper axis the way that the Lord intended. You understand? Right now, nobody thinks that they're wrong for setting up businesses over the top of us while our people are destroyed. They just see it's a come up for them. Well, they're wrong for that, and the Lord is charging them for it. So the Lord said they have scattered them among the nations and parted my land. They drew those lines on the map. Let me see if I can get this pulled up for y'all. Y'all like looking at these damn pictures. Let me see if I can get this pulled up for y'all. Map. Let's get this. Let's see if we can get a nice big map for y'all. Nice and clear. Let's see. Will they let me make it bigger? Let's see. Let's see. That ain't that helpful. Let's see it there. Bear with me just a moment, y'all. Let's see if we can get it up here. Would this one be better? I'll be able to do this. Edit layout, new layout, percent. I think this is it. Bear with me just a moment. And the extra camera slide share screens. Here we go. All right, y'all. Here we go. This is a map of the Middle East. Take a look at these maps. Y'all give me a 1 if you're able to see it. If y'all on Instagram and TikTok, you're not going to be able to see it. But everybody that's able to see it, give me a 1. Just want to show y'all this map of the Middle East. And y'all see this. See if it let me make it bigger. Keep jumping around. Keep jumping around. View tab. StreamYards. Y'all able to see this? Okay, there we go. I see it too now. Most High in Christ. All right. I got 1-1. All right. 1-1. The water for the one person who followed the order. The water. All right. So this is the map of the Middle East. I want y'all to be able to see this. You understand? This here, if y'all can see this cursor, this Russia up here, these stands, Afghanistan, this is Iran, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Egypt. You understand? Parts of this from Turkey, this here, this little piece of a potato chip right here, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, parts of this, all parts of this, Yemen, this is Jordan, Oman is the capital of Jordan. They changed the name. Iraq, Iran, parts of Afghanistan. You understand? This region here, this belongs to the children of Israel. You see this cursor moving around. Look and see how many different countries this is to this day. You got this, Palestine, Israel, Jordan, Yemen, you understand, Oman, Saudi Arabia. You got those Emirates. Everybody love going to Dubai. Go to Dubai, Dubai. All of that belongs to the children of Israel. Parts of Iraq, parts of Iran, parts of Afghanistan, all of these things. This belongs to the children of Israel. There are people that have been living in our land for literally for hundreds of years. You understand? They've been living the water. They've been living in our land for hundreds of years. And in their mind, they have a right to that land. They believe that they should live in the land. They believe the oil is theirs, the gold is theirs. They have a right to set up their religious places of worship there. They all believe that. Well, the Lord is going to plead with them for their beliefs, that they have a right to this land that everyone has forgotten belonged to God's chosen people, because their forefathers were able to sell us in slavery. And that is why God is going to bring them all into thermonuclear war. And they won't ever know why. They won't know why. The Lord says, I will gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there in that place. They living in our land. The Lord is going to plead with the Saudis and the Turks and the Iranians and the Iraqis. The Lord is going to plead with Israel and Palestine and Jordan and Oman and Yemen and Dubai. You understand? The Lord is going to plead with them for his people and his heritage, whom they scattered us and they divided up his land. All of that land I just showed y'all, that belongs to us. And the people who live there, they're not just going to give it up. You understand? They're not just going to give it up peacefully because they found out that 1,000 years ago their forefathers stole it after they murdered the children of God. Who gives a damn? That's in the past. That's what they tell us. Well, God cares. That's why he said, I'm going to bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. Verse 3, we in Joel chapter 3, verse 3, it said, and they have cast lots for my people. They shot dice for the Lord's people. They rolled the dice, you understand? Cast lots. They gambled for our people. They gambled for the lives of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to work in their sugarcane fields, to pick their tomatoes and their oranges and their lettuce and their onions and their asparagus and their bananas and strawberries, to cut coconuts for them, to be their workers, their construction workers, their day laborers, their slaves, their servants. You understand? To be abused in their harems. You understand? To do all of their experiments on. The allergy medicine that's in the grocery stores, that's in your pharmacies today, that allergy medicine comes from our oppressor doing experiments on blacks and Hispanics in prison, giving them all kind of infectious diseases, infecting us with things so that they can see how the body reacts without medication and all their trials and tests. They did that on us here in America, just like Hitler did to the Jewish man. They did that to us, except Hitler did it for a much shorter period of time. Crack cocaine and heroin was a major experiment that was done on blacks and Hispanics. That's why they call the area where we live the projects, because they were doing experiments on us, which they still are to this very day. You understand? And the Lord said they've cast lots for my people and given a boy for a harlot. A harlot is a prostitute. And the Arabs are big on having sex with little boys. They're big on that. They've given for a harlot. Our oppressor also likes to have sex with little boys. That's why that LGBT getting so much power. And you listen to the stories from all your famous rappers and your singers, that all of those big music executives, to make sure that your records get on the airwaves all across the world, they require something of those little boys, or those boy bands and those groups. They require something. You understand? Everybody talking about it decades later, after everybody's strung out on drugs, which is what our people turn to after being abused and molested as a child, which the Christian church and our black leaders are absolutely worthless to stop. You understand? So the Lord said, this is why he's doing this. He said, giving a boy for a harlot and a girl for wine. You know how you go to the bar or you go to the store now, they have them. Before, you couldn't go to a store per se and purchase your wine and your liquor. Let's say someone is a famous distiller. Like we got brothers in Houston that make their own wine. We got Officer Yatazar, Levi. He makes his own wine. He makes his own cremas. You understand? No, a brother in D.C., Yakazak, he made his own wine and brew over the years. Captain Arya, I believe as well, made wine several years for the Passover. So you have famous wine traders of the other nations, you understand, like Jack Daniels, you understand, who got a slave named Nearest Green to teach them how to make his whiskey that he sells for billions of dollars across the world. Well, you want to buy some whiskey, but he has whiskey and you don't have money, but you do have blacks and Hispanics in slavery. You got Maria in slavery. You got Issachar and Zebulon in slavery. And for those of you that do not know, because as a people, blacks and Hispanics do not know history. I don't care what you've been taught. I don't care how many degrees you have. Blacks and Hispanics do not know real history. You can't understand history without understanding race. Race is the most important thing in life. If you don't know what nationality, what people you are, you don't ever know the reference point to start learning about anything, because you'll be looking your whole life. You'll be trying to live your life through the lenses of a white man, thinking that snakes can talk. You understand? Thinking that magical dragon is going to fly in the sky, or you're going to die and live in some sandcastle. You understand? As opposed to thinking in slang, which is how we naturally communicate with one another in every language that we speak, not just English. But for those of you that did not know, the white man from Spain, the Spaniard, the conquistador, and the white man from Portugal, you understand, they enslaved our so-called Hispanic brothers. They go Ephraim right there. Shalom, Ephraim, Yahweh Shabbat. The Tainos did not name themselves Puerto Rico. You understand? The Mayans and the Aztecs did not name themselves Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador. Costa Rica means coast of riches. You understand? Colombia. They didn't name themselves Colombia down in the Andes Mountains. They didn't name themselves Colombia. The Inca and the Mapuche did not name themselves Bolivia and Colombia and Ecuador and Peru. You understand? They didn't name themselves Brazil down in the Andes Mountains in the Amazon. They didn't name themselves Brazil. Just like we did not name ourselves Johnson, Jones, and Jenkins and Smith. And you understand? They didn't name themselves Diaz and Ramirez and Sanchez and Gutierrez. Those are names and titles they got from being in slavery under the Roman Catholic Church, under the conquistadors from Spain who slaughtered, oppressed, and colonized Central South America and the Caribbean and Mexico. You understand? They murdered and tortured and waterboarded and drowned those brothers and sisters by the hundreds of millions to make them Catholic and speak Spanish and speak Portuguese. You understand? Because a lot of our people don't know they went into slavery. The plantations, which is we called where we worked, they had a Spanish plantation was known as a hacienda, which is a gigantic plantation that was usually owned by the church, that enslaved and beat and tortured brothers and sisters to get rid of their native languages, get rid of their native culture, get rid of their native hairstyles, get rid of everything about them to make them good white men, which is what Christianity is for. You understand? That's why they have a term that brothers and sisters have been taught, Latino, Hispanic brothers and sisters have been taught, a racist Christian term called mejor la raza, which means to better the race by getting the race further and further of any ethnic, native, or negroid features. Trying to be brighter, straighten your hair, get rid of the curly hair, to be closest to white as possible. Because being closer to white is being closer to God, according to what the conquistadors tortured into them for centuries. They divided blacks and Hispanics. You understand? Without the Christian church, we would automatically be together. If not for the Christian church, we would automatically be together. We were already together before integration in the civil rights movement. The signs that said no Negroes said no Negroes, no dogs, no Mexicans, no Puerto Ricans, no Indians. That's what the signs would say. They hated us all just the same. And we were never accepted into their society, even though we could entertain for them, we could fight wars for them, we could die for them, we could serve them, we could make them rich and wealthy. We were never a part of their society. The Chinese were able to join. The Arabs, the East Indians, everyone fit, but we won't, because we are the children of God, and God will not allow us to fit with another nation of people. And that is why he's bringing everyone else into World War III, because you finally left the church. You finally gave up the mosque. You finally gave up Christmas and pork and weed and hoes and abortion and being a whore. You gave up all of those lifestyles to come and serve the Most High, and it provoked the Lord to mercy so that he would bring this war to punish our enemies whose foot lives on our necks. That's what World War III is. So now when it talks about the Lord said This is why he's doing this. He said, and ye have cast lots for my people, and given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. They would trade our sisters, mothers, wives, and daughters. As you understand, you give me 2 cases of whiskey, and you can have this woman. Sundown towns. There you go, brother. Sundown towns. The United States CIA started civil wars in Central America in the 50s and the 60s so that they could take all of that land that is filled with precious fruit. Your United Fruit Company, you understand? The United Fruit Company is an American-owned company. Today is known as Chiquita Bananas. That's what you most famously know it for. Of course, they changed the name to get all the political heat off from all the murders that they did. Well, they started civil wars between warring factions that already have a disagreement, just like they always do. They explore the beef between 2 brothers on the land, like the Bloods and the Crips, like the Houthis and the Tutsis down in Rwanda, like the Afghan issues and everybody everywhere else. They explore the beef. They work both sides. And at the end of it, they own everything and you work for them. So they started these wars, the CIA did, to make sure that Latin America never became strong enough to be any threat to America. The same reason they started, I believe, was the CIA or the FBI one, so that they can investigate all the Negro groups, because Negro unity was the most dangerous thing to America, because there were millions of us. We were not accepted into their society. We had hundreds of years of skill and labor that white people did not have. They didn't know how to do the pipe work and the plumbing and building houses and working crops and fields and farms and being mechanics. They didn't know it because we had been doing it for them for hundreds of years. They make you think that black people were just ignorant, couldn't talk, couldn't read. That's a damn lie. When they got us off the west coast of Africa, we were doing engineering, iron work, leather working, embroideries and engraving, just like Captain Isupk and Captain Deborah Mouth does, taking metal works and chisels and beating designs into stone, into iron, into leather, embroideries and works, and mathematicians and scholars and communicators, linguists, you understand, revenuers, warriors. The art of having a military, that's how our nation functioned as a military, because we were always surrounded by enemies on every side. The Philistines, the Africans, the Asians, the Arabs, the East Indians. We were always at war with everybody. King David had war for 40 years because there were enemies on every side of our nation. You don't see that right now because they've all conquered us. That's why everybody else is at war, fighting to not be conquered by another nation of people. You understand? So this is what the Lord was saying when he brought that up, and this is why it's written here in the Bible. All right, like the Lord is bringing this World War III, and now why is the Lord saying this? Let's get some more. All right, verse 4. We in Joel chapter 3 and verse 4. He said, "Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon?" Tyre and Zidon were the coastal cities where lots of trade and imports would go through off the coast. That's where the border of Zebulun was, the tribe that lived on the coast. You understand? And Tyre and Zidon in the coast of Palestine. That's why it says the coast, where the water meets. The Palestinians are the Philistines, not those people living in the land now. The Philistines were Africans. We were fighting them for centuries. You understand? The Lord is asking the question, what the hell do you have to do with me? Since everybody want to pick up the Bible and swear it's got something for them, the Lord had been asking this question long ago. This was a prophecy. What do you think you have to do with me and my records and my people? You understand? Because everybody think the Bible has salvation for them in it, when the Bible has captivity for them in it. That's what happens when Christ returns. And he said, will ye render me a recompense? Are you going to pay me back for what I've done? And if ye recompense me, if you pay me back, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense or your payback upon your own head. Why is the Lord had his beef with all these other nations. He said, because ye have taken my silver and my gold. The silver and the gold that the Vatican took, that the Arabs took, the Africans took, the East Indians, the Syrians, everybody has the Lord's silver and their gold. The British have it. It's in their museums and their monuments. Miles and miles of our architecture, artifacts, and works are underneath of the Vatican right now. Miles of our architects, our artifacts, our works, they've been hiding our identity. It is the best kept secret on the entire planet. Ever in all of human history, there has never been another secret kept so well by everyone is in on this secret. Everybody knows who you are. The East Indians know, the Arabs, the Africans know, the West and the East Africans know, the South and the North Africans know, the Russians know, the Koreans, all of the Asians know, the Polynesians, all of the Philippines. Everybody knows who you are. That's how they know where to set up their business. That's how they know to come from their country to come to your ghetto and set up a business, and they'll be set for life. Like they all know. Psalms, the 83rd chapter says they are confederate against thee. They've been had this plan to work together. You understand? Even though they went to war with each other, they settled on dividing us, getting rich off of us. You understand? That's why the more our people turn back and serve the Most High, if the East Indians and the Chinese are not able to rob and exploit our people, they're going to war with America. If they can't get money off of blacks and Hispanics in America and everywhere else, they just up and declare war on America. They fighting over Taiwan right now. They done sent so many destroyers over to the Strait of Hormuz, over to the China Sea. They got destroyers all facing each other, ready to blow everything to hell right now. They sent another set of, they sent the USS Gerald Ford. You understand? In addition to all the other destroyers they've already sent. Let me see if I can get, you understand, just see if I can take a look. Let me see this. Bear with me just a moment. All right. They sending destroyers to Alaska. They sending destroyers. The Strait of Hormuz, the Pentagon, Chinese warships crossing paths with U.S. destroyers. You understand? The Navy sends ships to San Diego Bay. Let me see. U.S. Navy sends 4 destroyers off the coast of Alaska. The coast of Alaska, for those of y'all that don't know, the other side of the coast of Alaska is Russia. You understand? You might not know, but Alaska used to belong to Russia. And America, the United States, purchased Alaska from Russia. Let's see. October 18th, 1867. All right. It was formally transferred. It was a treaty, and Alaska was formally transferred to the United States on October 18th, 1867. This purchase ended Russia's presence in North America and ensured U.S. access to the Pacific Northern Rim. It says on October 18th, 1867, the U.S. formally takes possession after purchasing the territory Russia for $7.2 million or less than 2 cents an acre. Where did America get millions of dollars from? They got it from cotton. They got it from sugarcane. They got it from slavery. They got it from tobacco. They got it from their cash crops and the international trade that Europeans were able to do because of the slavery all throughout the Caribbean, all throughout North, South, Central America, all of their plantations and their colonies. This revolved around the planet. This revolutionized how business was done across the planet because they had our people in slavery. And God is going to set everything that they worked for up in flames real soon. You understand? This is real justice in the Bible. Not holding the sign, somebody gets 10 years, they pay a little fine, they say you're sorry, you get to invite them to church and hug them. That's what church teaches justice is. This is God's justice. They stole his gold and his silver, all right, and his people and his land. Joel chapter 3 and verse 5, he said, because you've taken my silver and my gold and carried into your temples my goodly, pleasant things. All of our artifacts and things, just like I was saying, they took them. Verse 6, the children of also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians. The Grecians are the so-called white man, the oppressor, that they might remove them far from their border. We far from our borders, far from our homeland in the Middle East. We over here in America. We in Jamaica. We in Trinidad. We in Richmond, in Norfolk, in Petersburg, in Lynchburg, in South Boston, and Emporia, in Roanoke, in Woodbridge, and Manassas. You understand? We in Philly, and Baltimore, and Memphis, and Detroit, and New Orleans, and Shreveport. We not in our borders anymore. We in Mexico, Dominican Republic, Cuba, and Brazil, and El Salvador. We've been removed far from our borders, and the Lord is going to punish them for this, and they will not know why. And the Lord doesn't care that they don't know why. He's still going to punish them. Verse 7, behold, I will raise them up out of the place where ye have sold them. The Lord said he's going to raise us up. That's what the Isupk is doing. Every day that you do not smoke cigarettes and smoke weed, every day that our people stop getting high, every day our people don't go to church, every day our people stop going to the mosque and stop being Muslims, stop shaving their face, stop getting shape-ups, stop having sex with sisters and throwing them away, sisters stop aborting your babies, sisters stop having sex with multiple men, you be with that one brother for the rest of your life. That's what God requires. You understand? The more and more our people turn back and obey the Lord said, and get in the Isupk. It does you no good to keep the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandments and not obey one of the most important commandments, which is to obey the prophet that he put in charge, which is in Deuteronomy, the 18th chapter, 15 and 18. You are not in the truth and obeying the Most High if you are not in the Isupk, obeying commanding General Yohanan. You're not obeying the Lord. It is one of the many commandments. Of course, you won't understand because you're in the world, you're in a church, you're in some fake Israelite group. You probably got a Taliban head wrap on your head, some Gucci scarf, baby doll tassels on your T-shirts. You're out doing speakings in shorts and Jordans. You got a gun on your hip because you're scared to death because the Lord is not with you. You're in some purple dress. You're teaching rape. You got white people with you. You're having sex with other brothers, women. You're smoking weed. You got dreadlocks, shape-ups. You don't know what the hell you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. You understand? You should stop playing Israelite and come to the real biblical Israelites, which everyone knows are only in the Isupk. Everybody knows this. You understand? So the Lord said he sold them and removed them far from their land. The Lord said he would raise them up out of the land where they are, which goes to show you once again, you are not supposed to empty your bank account and go run to Africa. Go move to Ghana. Go move to Kenya. Move to Sierra Leone. Move back to the Ivory Coast. Move to South Africa and Zambia and Namibia and try to go back to Ethiopia, the motherland. Negro, that's not your land. You're not one of those people. You are no more an African than an El Salvadorian or a Mexican or a Cuban. You're not an African. They come everywhere you are and they don't come to get you. They come to get some money from hanging around you so that they can take it back to their own people. You understand? You getting ready to get sucked up into moving back to Africa again, like they do to black people. Every 10 or 15 years, they do this to black people. And you take all of your American money that only means something because of the work that our forefathers did in slavery and in captivity, building up America. And you go move to Africa to be around melanated people. And what you're going to find is you're going to be charged double and triple what it's worth. The country is not developed. Damn power outages everywhere, flooding, roads that ain't hardly built up. And you're going to be there. And once you run out of money, you're going to be a poor black person in another people's country. You're messing up your citizenship, just like those blood brothers and sisters that followed Ben Ami, that was told to not leave America back in the 80s or something. You understand? He took black people back over to Liberia. And the Liberians were over there eating black people during their civil war. Then they kept migrating to the south. And they finally made it all the way to Israel, just for the white man in Israel to not give you citizenship and let you set up a home in the desert somewhere, just like the Jamaicans had to do in Ethiopia right now. Our people don't ever learn. You understand? You're going to go over there to Africa, get your African citizenship, get around melanated people, make all your TikTok videos, and guess what's going to happen? World War III is going to break out. The damn embassy is going to be empty. All the white people are going to be airlifted and go back to America, and you're going to be stuck in Africa, surrounded by Africans, without your American citizenship, just like the brothers and sisters, just like Commander General Hunter said was going to happen in 2012 and 13 on the radio shows back then. Now you have no American citizenship. You're separate from your own people. You're around another race of people. And now you're SOL while they go to war with everyone else. Like the Lord said, I will raise them up from where they are. You don't need to take a plane trip to try to go and fly somewhere to make the East Indians and Israelite like fake Israelite groups do. It's niggas right in Detroit that are Israelites. Go get them. They need water. They need food. They need clothes. Go get them. You understand? Right in Mexico, right in Arizona, right in Phoenix, right in Petersburg. You understand? Right in Lynchburg, right in Richmond, right in Portsmouth and Chesapeake. You understand? Right in Emporia. Go get them. You understand? Like this is what the Lord is saying. I'm going to raise them up out of the place where you sold them, and will return your recompense, your payback on your own head. Verse 8, the Lord said, and I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, into the hands of black people, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to some heathens, to a people far off. They're going in captivity. They're going to be in captivity, and they're going to be taken right from their suburban home in Springfield. And the Lord is going to make sure that they end up serving captivity down in damn Namibia somewhere. They're going to be working a peach grove plantation in Namibia. The 111-degree sun, night and day, getting burnt to hell. That's what the Lord said is going to happen. And that is God's justice. You understand? To a people far off, for the Lord hath spoken it. Verse 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Let all the nations prepare war. And that's what they're doing. That's why they're setting up fighter jets and they ordering tanks and all of these things here. That's what they're doing. You understand? USA orders attack. Let's see. That's why the banks are closing down. You think your money is going to save it, you understand? The U.S. Army they ordering helicopters, record numbers of helicopters. They ordering attack helicopters. Poland is ordering helicopters. They selling Apaches to Poland. It says the U.S. backed sale to Poland of Apache helicopters in 12 billion. That's August the 21st. I just want to let y'all know and see these things. Like this is what it's talking about. This is what the United States is doing. Everywhere else around us is preparing for war. Invite. Let me just see. Bear with me just a moment. I want y'all to be able to see these. You understand? Well, everybody talking about they blessed and highly favored and all this old kind of nonsense. Like this is what the okay, hold on. Somebody can mess something up. Hold on. There we go. Present. Share screen. Poland. Poland is on the border of Belarus. Belarus is a Russian ally. All right. It's a Russian ally. This right here is August the 21st, a couple of days ago. U.S. backs sale to Poland of Apache helicopters in $12 billion arms package. $12 billion of air-to-ground missiles sent into Warsaw, which is the capital of Poland. Poland has been a leader among European allies back in Ukraine. Well, they didn't jump in Ukraine smoke with Russia. And Russia told little homie Belarus to get ready for it to jump off. You understand? Like, this is what the biblical prophecies is talking about. Let's not get too far ahead. All right. So this is what the Lord is talking about. This is Joel there. And he's telling them, the Gentiles, prepare for war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. The Pakistani ISI, get them in there. The Spetsnaz from Great Britain, the Royal Navy, the Royal Air Force. Get your 5th Infantry, your 151, your 82nd Airborne. Get them in there. All your special groups, all your special ops, your Chinese Marines. Get them all in there. Your Koreans, your Japanese. Get your destroyers. Everybody. Get them all in there. Like, this is what the Lord is talking about. Let's see. Present this here. Let's see. We do this here. If y'all like doing this, let me try this out here. Joel, 3rd chapter. Let's see. Do this for a little bit so y'all can see this here. All right. This is what the Lord said. All right. For a little bit so y'all can take a look at these scriptures that we're reading here. He said, let the Gentiles know. Prepare for war. Let them all know it's drawing near. Let them come on up. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords. Don't worry about farming and working no crops. He's saying that because they buying up hundreds of acres of farmlands. Don't worry about that. Turn that plow into a sword. Turn your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Let little Japan say, I'm strong. We're going to get our military back together. Let Ukraine say, I'm strong. We ain't letting Russia invade us no more. Let Poland say, I'm strong. We get $12 billion worth of missiles and Apache helicopters. We strong over here. Let everybody say I'm strong. Niger, little Niger on the west coast of Africa, let them kick the French out of their country. Say, I'm strong. Russia said they'll give AK-47s to whoever wants smoke. Whoever wanted, they got them on deck. The next week, the Hamites was kicking the French out of their country. He said, assemble yourselves together and come, all ye heathen, all the other nations. Get ready. Gather yourselves together round about thither, because the mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. You understand? Round about, he said, I'm going to judge all the heathen, all of them. The Lord called this the valley of decision. He said, let's see, verse 13, he said, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. The sickle is something you use to cut down the harvest your wheat, harvest your corn. You got to cut it down because it's growing in stalks so very high up in the air. You got to cut it down to be able to get to it. Of course, now most things are done, machine process, manufactured, stuff like that. That's how most things are done. So he's saying the harvest is ripe. Talking about the harvest of all the warfare. Get you down, for the press is full. The press is a wine press. It's a machine that you use to crank and crush down a fruit or a vegetable to extract all of the juice. The fats overflow. All of the fats of the wine, the fats of the grape, of the tomatoes, whatever fruits or whatever things you press to make fruits, it is overflowing because there's so much available. This is the Lord getting poetic, talking about this war he's going to bring, about how the beef is just magnificent, for their wickedness is great, all the evil that they did and that they're still doing to our people. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. You understand? He said, the sun and the moon shall be darkened. The sun and the moon are going to be dark because there's going to be so much smoke from all the missiles, all the everything. That smoke is going to be so much, you won't see the sun or the moon. The stars shall withdraw their shine, and you won't see the stars. You won't be able to see stars. You're going to see bombs bursting, missiles going off, rockets getting fired, attack helicopters, explosions. That's what you're going to see. This is what the Lord is saying. This is a biblical prophecy in the Bible. You understand? Like, that's what the Lord wanted. So from there, going to go. All right. Bear with me just a moment. Like, that's what the Lord is saying. Let's get this one here. All right. Bear with me at 8:18. Making good time. Share screen. Revelation. Of course, y'all got any questions, be sure to type them in there. Make sure I can see them. Might need to type them again so I can get to them. All right. Just let me know. All right. Oh, I could have did this. Well, it should be big enough now. So this is the book of Revelation, Revelation chapter 18. This is the revealing of the return of Christ. This is what Christ is coming back for. He's being revealed. But what people don't realize is the salvation Christ is coming back to bring is not something good for all people. You understand? If you are not Black, Hispanic, and Native American, Christ's return and him bringing that biblical salvation is going to be the absolute worst day in all of human history. It's going to be the worst. You understand? So this is Revelation chapter 18 and verse 1. This is the vision. John the Revelator is in prison on the island of Patmos. They imprison him for teaching the gospel. Of course, he later dies in this prison eventually, because it's always been our oppressor's culture to imprison someone on an island. You understand? Like the island of Alcatraz, Rikers Island, Pelican Bay. You understand? All of those islands, you know, they are prisons. Like, that's our oppressor's culture, to put you on an island prison. And he said, after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven having great power. He's getting a vision and he's seeing an angel with strong power. And the earth was lightened with his glory. The earth was lit up with his glory. Now, this is what he's saying. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon, the great, is fallen. Babylon is talking about America. America is called Babylon because of all of the. I don't want to do that. Hold on. It's called Babylon. Let me see if I can change this, make this bigger. Hold on. Hold up. Oh, that wasn't it. So, like, yeah, hold on. I'm going to do that. Hold on. Two. There you go. There we go. All right. So he called Babylon because all nations of people live here in America. It was never supposed to be that way, even from the very beginning of the Bible. The Lord separated all people since the days of Adam. Adam's sons went and joined the wives, the women of the other nations. The Lord got angry. You understand? Rose up Enoch. Enoch rose up Noah. The Lord told Noah to build a ship. He killed everybody on the earth with floods but 8 people. The earth repopulates again in Genesis, the 10th chapter, over these periods of many, many years. Now the earth is full of people once again. The Lord starts to separate all people at the Tower of Babel, which again is in the Middle East. It was never in Africa. It was never in Egypt. It was always in the Middle East. You understand? That's why we looked at the map earlier. All right. All people come together. The Lord changed everybody's language, changed their culture, and pushed them to different parts of the world. God did this. All right. So that's why it's called Babylon, and it's the great. This is the greatest empire that's ever lived. It patterned itself after ancient Egypt. That's why you have Egyptian obelisks. That's why you have the all-seeing eye of Horus on your dollar bills. You understand? That's how you have the Washington Monument. is a pyramid. That's why if you find the people that built the pyramids when we were in captivity, the so-called Aztecs, Mayans, Incas, the Native Americans, we built pyramids in America, in Ohio, called the Mississippi Mound Builders. We built pyramids. The Gadite tribes built pyramids in America. Issachar built pyramids in Mexico. Zebulon built pyramids in Central South America. I mean, in Central America and Southern Mexico, because of course those lines that Esau drew to make Central America, those lines he drew to divide the lines up for white people, for the white man from Spain. He drew those lines. Those lines weren't there when he got there. You understand? He made us separate people. We were already the same people. We were just fighting each other. And he, like a devil does, exploited an existing beef between two brothers. Next thing you know, he's in charge. We're in captivity. We speak his language. He owns the land. You understand? So the Lord said, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become a habitation of devils. Devils. It's filled with devils. Devils from Ireland, devils from Egypt. I mean, devils from Belarus, the Greek devil, the German, the Jewish man, the French, the Dutch, the Irish, the British, the one from Spain, Portugal, the Chechenians. You understand? All of the Edomites from everywhere. All of the devils are there. And the hold of every foul spirit. If you want to murder your baby, you come to America. If you're a man that wants to have sex with other men, you come to America. America will give you rights. You'll even be able to adopt a child and raise a family, even though you aren't willing to do what's required to have a family, which is to lay down and be with a woman and be a husband and she's a wife. You want to try to take a damn man and turn the man into a wife, or you pretend to be a damn wife. It's a bunch of confusion, and God said it is a foul spirit. Men with men, men pretending to be men. I mean, pretending to be women, making women above men, which is also a foul and evil spirit. A woman is not equal to a man in a righteous society. A woman would not have all of these freedoms and abilities that this evil society gives to women, like killing your baby, like leaving your man to be able to go and have sex with another man because you found out he got another woman, like taking a man's kids and running away to a different state because you're upset with him, or, you know, getting half of his stuff in his home and take his kids away because you're not fulfilled and you want to have a nice career somewhere else. You understand? You are never supposed to have the right to do that. A woman does not have a right to teach the Bible. The Bible is not women's empowerment. A woman is not supposed to choose what man she will have a family with. She's not supposed to choose what man she will have sex with. That is a disaster. That's why it's herpes and AIDS everywhere, and gonorrhea and chlamydia spread everywhere. That's how sisters find the men that will have sex with them and leave them, that'll beat them, that'll rob them, that'll molest their children, because a woman is not supposed to decide these things. This is an evil spirit, and an evil society did this. And what is the result? You can tell it doesn't work. The juvenile court, domestic court, the child support court, hell, the teachers will tell you we can't find fathers anywhere. The courts will tell you you can't find fathers anywhere. Why? Because this evil empire that is the hold of every foul spirit has spread this evil that sisters now believe that it's the normal. They did this to destroy Black and Hispanic women, but they had such a difficult time doing it with the Hispanic sisters because of the language barrier from English to Spanish. So because they aren't able to implement it as successful as they have been with the tribe of Judah and the English-speaking tribes with Eve, you understand, with our sisters there, they just go ahead and separate the children and the families with their immigration customs enforcement and put them in separate private prisons hidden all across the country and just say, we lost them. I don't know who it is. Oops. I don't know. We sorry. You understand? Like, this is why the Lord is going to send nuclear war. And this is why Poland is buying $12 billion worth of missiles. You understand? This is why the U.S. is buying missiles and computer chips and attack helicopters. All right? U.S. Okay. U.S. It's Just a moment, please. Just so we can pull that. The Apache, the Boeing, fleet by strength. That's what I need. New. So, Lock, I got the wrong one. Apache helicopters being sent. Approves exports of Apaches. Oh, well, we had to find it later at another time. We don't have time to play with that. All right. So it says it's become a habitation of devils and the hold of every foul spirit. A man that wants to have sex with a woman and leave her, that is an evil spirit. Telling someone that no strings attached, no feelings, that's an evil spirit that America has cultivated. That's an evil demonic spirit that is spread like a cancer to take something that God always intended to be permanent and to just, to destroy the very fabric of society that God intended for people. To, in essence, turn people into animals that just for, mating purposes would get together and then go their separate ways. Like that's a damn animal. That's a dog. That's a cat. Like that's an evil spirit. And now they want to have sex with children. Every evil spirit, you come here, you get a right, you get a parade, you get a day. You want to be, you understand, you some man with child abuse charges where you can go and dress up like a woman and change your whole identity. And now, boom, there you go. Kids are us. They'll make you a teacher. They'll give you a special day to come and seduce children at a damn drag show. And then other people will stand up and fight for it because in this home of every foul spirit, everyone has a right to pursue whatever evil desire that they so choose. That's why the Lord said this place is going to be destroyed because it is a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Verse 3, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. It's a metaphor talking about taking a drink of the wrath of her fornication. What is fornication? Fornication is unlawful sex. All nations have jumped into bed with America. They got some wealth, they got some riches, and all the kings of the earth have committed a fornication with her. They laid down and got in bed with America. Korea, China, Japan, all the Arab countries, the Africans, the Nigerians, the Ethiopians, all the West and Central South Africans, the North Africans, all the other European nations. Like they had no right to come to this land that belongs to the Mexicans, that belongs to the tribe of Gad, that belongs to the tribe of Reuben, the Seminole Indians. They had no right to come to this land and take something for themselves. They have no right to take fruit and corn and apples and peaches and land and use their waters and move their family in. They had no right to do this. They murdered those brothers and sisters and then moved their family and invited their friends here. Well, the Lord is going to punish them for that. They don't realize it, but the Lord is going to punish them for that. And they won't know why, but you will. And the merchants, all the salesmen that import and export and do business with America, the merchants of the earth are waxing rich, meaning they grow rich and rich through the abundance of her delicacies. All the corn and oranges and mangoes and strawberries and peaches from all of the bananas that they stolen from the Caribbean. All of the fruits, all the Chiquita bananas and Dole and Del Monte fruits, all of the crops that they've stolen. You understand? From our tribes, from Central and South America. That's why Zebulon is starving to death. That's why Asher is starving to death in Venezuela and Bolivia and Colombia and Peru and Brazil and Argentina. They down in the tropics, down in the mountains. Why the hell would you leave your home in the tropics to come here to be hated and oppressed here in America? Because our oppressor is starving us to death. And the Lord is going to destroy this place because of it. Verse 4, he said, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her. Come out of her. He's saying, he heard a voice saying, come out of her, my people. What does he mean, come out of her? That doesn't mean we already went over, because the Lord said he's going to raise us up from the land where we were. So it doesn't mean to get on an airplane and go to the west coast of Africa, or to go back to South Africa or Kenya or Ghana, because they say it's the year of return. You understand? That's not what that means. It means come out of her that ye be not partakers of her sins. Don't join her LGBT, her smoking weed, her getting high. Every other country on the planet, I think, except for the Netherlands, selling drugs is illegal. Weed is illegal. Using drugs and heroin, like, that's illegal just about every other place on the planet, because they've seen centuries of studies of how horrible drug addiction negatively impacts their society, how it destroys a people. It demoralizes them because they're high. They don't think straight. They don't have proper risk management assessment. Smoking weed permanently damages your brain. You understand? I just found this out. Smoking weed not only increases your risk of heart attack, increases your risk of stroke, damages your lungs. That's why a lot of your rappers that like to smoke weed, they having heart attacks now. Rick Ross had a heart attack. A couple of young rappers had heart attacks. Dragon, if you remember from the 90s, was signed to Rough Riders. He had a heart attack. Not to mention the Percocets and Mollies and all the other drugs and the lean and the liquid heroin. They all having heart attacks because smoking weed is not less harmful for you than the tobacco of a cigarette. Some drug addict taught you that. The New England Journal of Medicine and all of the real places who do real medical studies that spend a decade of their life to go to school and study and miss parties and fun so that they can become a certified doctor by a board of other certified doctors to be able to have a license to practice medicine, so that what the hell they say actually matters, because they learned something. You understand? Like, they're saying that it is harmful, it's damaging you, it's damaging your kids, it's making your brain not able to function properly, it's turning your kids into special needs, you're ruining yourself and everything around you, everybody getting contact from you, you're going to lose your housing vouchers. If they piss test you at your job, you're gone. You can't have your weed and your weed cards and be able to arm yourselves. They're taking your guns away. You understand? If you drive your vehicle under impaired, just like if you take your prescription, you're going to catch a charge. You're going to get a ticket. It's a trap that they set up for our people. And these are more sins that the Lord does not want us to fall into. What else? Interracial marriage. That's a sin. It's a plague coming for that. Because when everybody else is divided up by teams, just like you saw in that Montgomery Borough down on that boat dock, nobody had to tell the white people to not attack black people. They instinctively knew, I'm here, I'm not with them, but I'm white and they're black. Nobody had to tell them this isn't about race. Everyone automatically knew they were there because of race. He got attacked because he was black and they were white. They continued to attack him while he was on the ground because he was black and they were white. They thought they didn't have to respect him because he was black and they were white. They weren't going to move their boat, even though a whole riverboat cruise liner is coming down the damn port. They thought they didn't have to because they were white, he was black. And they would have killed him on camera, like we've seen mobs of white men kill black men and children all the time, if not his people stepped in to save their people. You understand? Everybody already knows they're on a team. The only people that they pretend like it doesn't matter is when they get around blacks and Hispanics. And that's only so that they can rob you blind. You understand? So the Lord is saying that you be not partakers of her plagues, because you're going to have a black baby that comes from you that you made with a white girl, or a Mexican baby that you made with a white girl. But here's the thing. You don't want those curls that's growing out of her hair to show, because they're going to find out it's a nigga under there. Even though it might be yellow, it might be very, very bright. It might be light brown, it might be cinnamon. It's a nigga in there. That's why that hair is all curly. And they don't want that. So you're going to be fighting the very scalp that grows out of your head, so that this white man, this oppressor that you made a baby with, doesn't find out that his baby is part slave. You understand? And this is happening, of course, all over the country, all the time. You try to put the black baby braids and barrettes in your hair, and little white girls don't put big barrettes and braids in their hair. That's something grandma does. But her grandmama and your grandma ain't the same. Your grandma been raising slave babies. Her grandmama been raising oppressors. Like, you're not supposed to be together. And that is a plague that is harming our people that you don't realize. You take your black son into the white gated community so you can have sex with your white girlfriend, and the white neighborhood watch is going to stalk and murder your son because you're not supposed to be where they are. That's a plague. You understand? Verse 5, for her sins have reached unto heaven. All the murder, all the robbery, all the abortion, all the gentrification, these things are sins. Human trafficking is a sin. Stealing someone's identity, you put the real Jews in slavery and say you are the Jews, that's a crime. You moving other nations of people into our land because we went into slavery hundreds of years ago, that's still a crime. You understand? And God have remembered her iniquities. Like the Lord remember those sins. The Lord remember. He's not going to let it go just because it was 1,000 years ago, 100 years ago. Verse 6, the Lord said, reward unto her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. Meaning, we served out 400 years of slavery, they're going to serve 800 years of slavery. We pick cotton and sugar cane, they're going to pick cotton and sugar cane. We swept their streets and built their empires in iron and chains. They're going to be building our streets and our empire in iron and chains. This is what actual salvation is. They hung us from trees. The Lord said, reward unto them double. They fed us to dogs and alligators, alligator babies. Well, the Lord said, reward unto them double. A new study just came out. I just saw it recently when they talked about alligators respond to the sound of crying babies. Babies thrashing and splashing in the water. They said alligators respond to that sound. You understand? Alligators respond to that. Right. So they said that alligators respond to the sound of those babies crying and splashing in the water. They say it's such a response to them that it works them up in a frenzy. It works them up in such a frenzy so that now they're trying to capture alligators so that they can be able to kill and skin and sell alligators for luggage and boots, furniture, all those gator skin, this and that. But they used our babies to capture, you understand, alligators. Let's see if I can find that. right here. Crocodiles are drawn to the wails of crying human babies and infant primates. I want y'all to see this. When the Lord say he have remembered her iniquities, this is a study. I want y'all to see this. This is how cruel our oppressor is. I'm gonna share this with y'all because I want y'all to give me a one if y'all can still hear and see me. I ain't seen nobody type nothing in a long time. Just give me one. Let me know I'm not in here talking to myself. All right. Let's see. Share screen. Just let me know. Let's see. I want y'all to see this. We're talking about alligator babies. Let me know y'all can see this. Y'all give me a one. He says, we know y'all can see this study. Right here. I want y'all to see this article. This is Microsoft Science. Y'all can see me? Okay. One brother see me, I'll not see me. Good old Anam Mataza. You understand? Mosai and Christ. The water. All right. Somebody sees it. This study here says crocodiles are drawn to the whales of crying human babies and infant primates. They're drawn to it. They show you a nice picture of a crocodile. It says now crocodiles respond to the sound of human babies crying, as well as the cries of infant chimpanzees and bonobos, a new study finds. They seem to be the most responsive to high intensity crying, even maybe better at picking up on the level of distress in those cries than humans are. You understand? So a baby is in the water, drowning, scared to death, taken from his mother, thrown into the damn river, and now the alligator is like, oh yeah, this is perfect. I'm gonna come get one of them. Like they fed our babies to alligators, and the alligators responded perfectly. Like there's so much evil been done in this place to us. Like when the Lord burns this place in thermonuclear war, it will be more than justified. And the Bible says in verse 7, how much, Revelation chapter 18, verse 7, how much she have glorified herself. All of that, God bless America, pledge allegiance to the flag, my country, 'tis of thee, you so righteous and moral. This is what they did to build America. This is what they did to build America. She have rewarded you, and you understand how much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously. All of the wealth, all your grocery stores and Trader Joe's, your companies, your NBC and CBS and HBO, and all of these wonderful things and a wonderful life that she made. She lived deliciously and so much torment. I mean, a baby can't do anything to you. Only thing a baby can do to you is keep you awake. Maybe pee on you, maybe throw up on you if you get close enough. If you shake her up, you shake him up. But a baby can't do anything to you. The idea that you would do something so evil to a baby when the baby is absolutely defenseless. It says you torment and sorrow. Imagine you being a baby and the baby is you just a baby. You don't know nothing. You a baby. You're supposed to be somewhere being picked up and washed and fed and laid down and hugged and kissed and being treated like a baby and looked at and looked after and hugged some more. And then they take you from that and throw you in the water to drown. And while you screaming, help, crying out of your mind in a damn panic, some bastard sets you out on a rope so that the alligators can come and chew you to death. And then they're going to bring the alligator in and kill the alligator and make luggage while you be the alligator's last meal. God damn the white man. God damn the white man. Like that's an evil. That is an unspeakable evil. It is an unimaginable evil and cruelty that is unforgivable. And when Christ returns, they are going to pay. in such a manner and fashion that is so fitting the evil that our oppressors have done unto the children of Israel. That is a cruelty that is beyond the cruelty that you could imagine yourself. And these were not isolated incidents. This was a regular occurrence. So much so that they made postcards. You understand me? Alligator bait, alligator baby postcards that they sold. Get those to see. Alligator baby postcards. Like this evil is so. This one right here. These alligator baby postcards. It was nice. It was nice. Share this tab instead. Y'all should see this is alligator. Nice funny postcard. Ha ha ha. Look at them. They in the water. They crying. The alligator's gonna get them. Alligator's gonna eat them. Darky's prayer in Florida. These gators look so fiery, and yet they appear to tame. But now that I meet them, I'll never be the same. Nice and funny. Ha ha ha. They thought this shit was funny, huh? They thought it was real funny. Salaki. They enjoyed themselves. They had a good time. You understand? The gators in the swamp. They had a wonderful time. When the Bible says how much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously. You understand? Let me see what alligator baby. Negro alligator baby. See if I can get some more of them. Like this is what the Bible says. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Nice and funny. Ha ha ha. Is it still showing it? Let me see if I can pull it up. Like this is the torment that it's talking about. Like this is what you teach your children. Your children in school learning, the founding fathers and God bless America and the Revolutionary War and Civil War. This is what you teach your Black and Hispanic children. If you don't want them to grow up and become a murderer and abort your grandbabies and become a gang member to shoot up all the cities of Virginia, you teach your sons and daughters the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. You see this here? This is on the advertisement. They didn't do this for no reason. They did this because this was common practice. See this gator? Ha ha ha. So much fun. Like this is a postcard. I believe this is a soap box. Your dealer, the toilet and bath soap. This was on the box of the soap. Kendall Davis Company. I wonder who the Kendall Davis Company is now. The Kendall Davis Company. This was on their box for the soap. Here go another one. Licorice drops. Nice little candy. Hey, shalom. Shisha burger thumb. A candy. This was on the box of the candy. The alligator coming up. The baby screaming, crying, about to get killed. Ha ha ha. Look at that. Isn't that so much fun? They thought this was funny. When the Bible says they lived deliciously and they gave so much torment. I mean, unnecessary torment. There is no godly reason, no ungodly reason to do such an evil thing to a baby. You understand? Like alligator bait. These are things we hang up. In the ISUPK, we hang things like this up in our schools. You understand? Where's the lynching? Like we hang things like this up in our schools because the Christian church is not going to teach Blacks and Hispanics the history of how cruel our oppressors have been to us. The Christian church is not going to teach them this. Why don't Black people have more businesses? Why don't Black people have more businesses? Well, this is what they did to Black business owners. They got the whole town together of poor, unskilled whites that didn't know anything, that didn't have any trades, that don't come from generations of fathers that worked the fields, that picked cotton and cut sugar cane and soldered pipes and built houses and streets and roads and were mechanics. You understand? They didn't come from that. They came from poor, unskilled white laborers. So the town would get together and they would lynch the black store owners. They would lynch the entire families. You understand? They would burn the cities down. These are families that owned businesses. This is the fun. See the fun? They having a wonderful time in the city. This is the white town. You understand? Well, that's what they tried to do in that dock in Montgomery, Alabama. They were lynching that brother. They were killing him. They were choking him. They were continuing to beat him up. This is it. You see, the whole town is out, burning of the Negro Smith. Greenville, Texas. You understand? 9:30 a.m. What a wonderful day. Like when the Lord says so much torment that they gave. These brothers and children here, these are babies, teenagers. This is Tamir Rice. This is George Stinney. This is Tamir Rice. This is Trayvon Martin, Freddie Gray. They had wonderful times. The whole town came out. Merry Christmas. God bless you in the name of Jesus. And they would send this postcard with one of our brothers and sisters hanging from a tree. Whole families hanging. This is how they wiped out our businesses. This is how they wiped out our cities, wiped out our businesses. They weren't just hanging anybody. They were hanging entire families of business owners. That's why one of the textbooks in the Isupk is 100 years of lynching. That 100 years they traveled all across America. They were hanging our people, destroying the businesses, burning down the towns and the families. They hung entire families, mama, grandmama, babies, children, so that they could live deliciously because they couldn't read, because they were uneducated, because their own people wouldn't give them their money. They got money from selling slaves. They got money from cotton and sugar cane. They had educations and they can read, and their own white people chose to let them starve to death. So they couldn't fight the rich white men who could hire guns to defend them in their farms, and they live in places you don't know where the hell that place is. But you could go to the Negro side of town and bomb them and take your frustrations out on them. You couldn't make it in the military. You couldn't make it in society, but you can be a correction officer that beat the hell out of blacks and Hispanics because our society is destroyed. To kill brothers at a traffic stop. You couldn't be a real law enforcement. You couldn't make it in the military, but you can ride around with a shotgun and a rifle and beat the hell out of black teenagers and choke the hell out of Hispanics and, kidnap Native Americans. They don't even count. They're not even citizens in America. Nobody even goes looking for missing Native Americans. There's no list. There's no sign. It doesn't make the news. Nobody even knows who they are, where they were, who they were. Nobody gives a damn. Well, that's the fault of this empire. And the Lord said, this place has lived deliciously and given so much sorrow and torment. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen. I am America. God bless America from sea to shining sea. And crown her good with brotherhood or some garbage like that. I am no widow. I'm not a widow. I will never be a single mother like I've made these people be single mothers. I will never be without the strength and protection and covering of her husband, of her might and her ability. And I am no widow, and I will not see sorrow and shall see no sorrow. And the Lord said, therefore, because of this, the Lord said, you're going to see sorrow. The Lord said it. The Lord is sending the death angel through. That's why it's so important that blacks and Hispanics turn back and serve the Most High, because the Lord said, therefore shall her plagues come in one day. Death, mourning, famine. Famine means it's food shortages. And she shall be utterly burned with fire. That's thermonuclear war. She shall be burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. The Most High power is strong. Right now, they don't look at God as being strong. They look at the Bible as a joke. The Bible says God is black. They found 1,000 pictures of a white man. The Bible say Jesus Christ is black. They say they paint 1,000 pictures of a surfer boy Jesus. They put Caesar Borgia all over the world to mock God, like they have the audacity to change what the God of the Bible laid down. They just make a whole nother, make a whole nother God and force the world to obey that God in the name of themselves. Well, the Lord said they lived deliciously, and all of the nations have come together and got rich with America, who have committed fornication. They lived wonderfully too. All the Saudis, all the Turks, the Asians, the Chinese, the Koreans, all the West and East Africans, they got trade and business. They got wealth from America. They got aid, all of the inventions. Black people invented the laptop. A black man invented the IBM computer. A black man invented the laptop, invented the cell phone, invented the fiber optic cables for your high-speed internet, your HDMI cords. A black man and woman invented all of that. A Mexican invented the color TV. By the amount of color TVs you see, you would think that the Chinese and the Japanese invented video games and cell phones and laptops and color TVs. The slaves invented those things. Their children made them. And the other nations of people got filthy rich for mass producing our technological genius and creations. They got rich with America because America sold it to them, sold them our technology so that they can mass produce it and come up and make it for cheap and become billionaires while we still show up to work every day. Well, the Lord is going to pay them back for that with fire and missiles and bombing and burning and thermonuclear war. And it said they're going to cry and bewail and lament for her when they shall see the smoke burning, standing afar off for fear of her torment. They're not going to want to join America in that day. You're going to start to see these other nations of people leaving America. They're going to go back to Ethiopia. They're going to go back to Nigeria. They're going to go back to China. They're going to go back to Japan, back to Korea. Everybody's going to return to their own land. That's what the Lord said. Saying, alas, alas, that great city, Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. 1 hour. Christ's going to return, and in 1 hour, they're going to destroy everything that they built for centuries. Verse 17, it says, Revelation 18 and 17, it says, for in 1 hour, so great riches is come to naught. All of that wealth became nothing but smoke. Every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea, they standing afar off. They're like, yep, that's it. Ain't going down there now. No, ain't going now. America, it's over. Everybody cut your losses. Time to go home. Time to get out of here. No, I don't want nothing to do with that. Oh, it looked bad over there. It looked real bad. No, like that's what the Bible is talking about. You understand? Let's see. We're gonna go a little bit over. We're gonna get a few more. Everybody, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. All right, turn on your notifications. I notice it's not sending the notifications. Even I turn on the notifications. So make sure you check it that it's still there. So we're going to go now from there to 2nd Ezra's in the Apocrypha. All of this is going on. That's what they're preparing for. 2nd Ezra's in the Apocrypha. All right. So verse 2nd Ezra's chapter 15. And we're going to start at, damn, this is good. Verse 8. I'm going to speed through it a little quick. We're going to start at verse 8. The Lord said, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, the evil that they're doing, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things. The Lord said he ain't going to allow this to continue, in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me. All of that murder that they did, they thought that that was just over with because they put them in mass graves. The Lord said that blood cries to him for justice, and the souls of the just, of the righteous, complain continually. And therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. The Lord said that blood goes to him. He's going to receive that. He's going to get that justice. And just as a sidebar, you brothers and sisters coming to it, you damn right, the picnics, that's exactly what they were called. You brothers and sisters coming into the truth, you are continuing the pursuit and the quest for justice that brothers and sisters who were thrown into gladiator pits in the Roman Empire and forced to fight against bears and tigers and lions and die. Just like in that movie Gladiator, they really did that to us for not eating pork, not taking the Romans' culture and society. You understand? They hung us from trees, just like you see in those pictures. The Greeks did the same thing. That's why the New Testament is written in Greek, because the brothers and sisters that didn't want to have their entire family hung from trees, they just decided to go ahead and eat pork. You understand? They just decided to have Christmas. We not Israelites no more? Okay, fine. We ain't going to be Israelites no more. Fine. We'll be Greek. We'll speak Greek. We won't keep the high holy days. We won't do any of it. Don't worry about it. Nope. Getting rid of this beard. Getting rid of these braids. I got you. Merry Christmas. Yep. I'm with you 100%. Happy New Year. Yes, we're with you. We're one of you now. All right. That's what they did. Everybody else was getting killed that didn't obey the Most High. The brothers and sisters were getting killed. They were killing them. That's why we had the war during Hanukkah to fight against them. That's why it's so imperative that you brothers and sisters come into the truth, that every Black, Hispanic, Native American get in the ISUPK, locked all the way in, so that other brothers and sisters can come in and benefit from your sacrifice, that can benefit from you changing your life to serve the Most High, so that the justice that millions of brothers and sisters who were slaughtered unrighteously for thousands of years, their blood is still crying to the Most High for justice. And it's expecting you to plead to the Lord for justice. Commonwealth of VA just sent my dead uncle over 15 years an almost $8,000 bill from courts and fines. That's crazy. The uncle dead for 15 years. He got $8,000 bills for court fines. Brother dead. Like, you aren't allowed to just die and that be the end of it. They want to make sure that in death you got a bill attached to you. Like, you will never be free of this place if the Lord don't burn the damn thing up. You understand? 2nd Ezra 15:10, the Lord said, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. We getting killed. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. The Lord said, I'm not going to suffer them to be in Egypt. We in Egypt right now, spiritually. That's why it's Egyptian obelisk. Your dollar got the all-seeing eye of Horus on everything. They got pyramids all over the place. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues. That's your COVID. That's the new COVID. COVID getting ready to spin back around for a second time. As before, he's talking about as before, just like he did in Egypt the first time, so that you will understand that this is not talking about ancient Egypt. That's why he said, I will smite Egypt with plagues, just like he did before, and will destroy all the land thereof. The Lord did not destroy ancient Egypt. They did us wrong. They served a punishment. They died for it, but they weren't destroyed completely. America is going to be destroyed completely when Christ returns. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that God shall bring upon it. This is not isolated. This is what the Lord is going to bring to plague the entire United States of America. Not the suburbs, not the ghetto, not the projects, not the church, not the mosque, not the Senate, not the West Coast, the East Coast, down South, Midwest, not the North, not the borders. The Lord said this plague is going to smite all of it. You understand? So don't get too worried and too attached to America. Don't make your life about money and a job and business, because guess what? COVID spin back around. They shutting everything down again. Them kids going to be at home with you. 911 going to be cut off. You understand? And in that day, you will either benefit from getting in the Isupk, paying your tithes, bringing all your goods and offerings and service and ability into the priest of the Lord in whatever city and state that you're in, because you will have an army with the protection of God where you are. You understand? And the covering of the Lord on you, because you've been taught to obey the Lord, and the Lord will protect you for obeying him. Or you would decide you don't want to be in the UPK. You'll go do your own thing. You don't want to stay with your men. You'll do whatever you want to do, or go get high, go back, sell drugs, go to church. You understand? You don't like kind of one kind. You don't want to pay your tithes. You get your money right. You start getting yourself together. You decide to go back out into the world. You're able to see better. You ain't hearing the voices no more. You're off the cigarettes. Finally got some meat on your bones because you ain't strung out on drugs anymore. You're out of the world. You got a taste of the brotherhood and the sisterhood, and you're able to stay alive. And you think you could do it on your own because we didn't took care of you so well, and the Lord is on your side. Well, you go run out in the world then, and you'll find out that the Lord ain't with you no more. You don't have to do that. Everything is being destroyed around you. It's only a matter of time. The more and more this empire dies down, the more and more our kingdom is going to rise. You understand? So the Lord said in 2nd Ezra 15 and 12, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment God shall bring. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail with fearful constellation. All the blasting and the hail, the things, the constellation is in the stars. Why are they going to be afraid of that? Because it's going to be missiles and bombs going off over your head. Woe to them that dwell therein. Woe is talking about destruction and war. For the sword and destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another people. That's what you saw on that boat dock in Montgomery, Alabama. And swords in their hands. This is World War talking about. One people fighting another. And there shall be sedition among men. People turning their back on their government. That's what you're seeing. The Africans just kicked the French out from control of West Africa. That's sedition among men. Their government been ran by the white man from France forever. They threw them the hell out the country. You understand? They overthrew the Capitol in January 6th. That's why Trump on charges right now. They were supposed to give all 10,000 of those white people down there storming the Capitol, doing a riot and kidnapping. They were supposed to be tried for treason. You understand? But because they all oppressors, they just let them know, it was bad what you did. It says they shall be invading one another, which is what you see it. Russia invading Ukraine. Belarus getting ready to invade Poland. That's why they're getting $12 billion worth of missiles from the United States. France trying to invade and bomb West Africa. All the Africans getting riled up to kick white people out their country. White people not just going to up and leave their money. They're going to double back and drop bombs. That's what they've always done. And they shall not regard their princes, their kings, nor princes. They don't give a damn about the president, no prime minister, the senator. They didn't care about none of that. They were coming for Nancy Pelosi. They were coming for the vice president. They didn't care. And the course of their actions, meaning whatever they do, shall stand in their power. Whatever they're strong enough to do, that's what they're going to do. A man shall desire to go into a city. You're going to want to go into a city and shall not be able. The city going to be closed. That's what happened with COVID. Cities was closed. They had to call the National Guard out. They had to instruct a curfew. Why? This is what it was talking about. And it's coming again. All your National Guards, all your National Reservists, they're going to get sent to China. They're going to get sent to China. They're going to get sent to Korea. They're going to get sent to Russia. They're going to get sent to Europe. They're trying to declare war on Mexico now so they can get in those mountains and steal all the cobalt and everything they need for the computer chips and those missile guidance systems to prepare to go to war. That's why Biden put 15,000 troops on the border of Mexico. How many of y'all knew that? 15,000 U.S. troops were put on the border of Mexico. U.S.T.R. All right, let me check, make sure. See if they still there. The Pentagon, okay, they did send them out. They send them out. It looks like they moved. They sent thousands of troops to the border, thousands of troops to the U.S. Mexico border. You understand? After they had to be shamed, they had to be thoroughly shamed. You understand? By the ISUPK, the work that the brothers did while everybody stayed shalom, brother, Lord in Christ. The work that they shamed though they shamed America for not helping the Haitian brothers, the Levites and Zebulon and Asher, living under bridges in Mexico, coming to America for amnesty, just like the Iraqis, the Iranians, and Ukrainians. They came and the immigration customs took their babies and whipped them and told people to drink out of toilet bowl water while they died starving to death under bridges. Well, the ISUPK under Captain Yatazak and the camps in Texas, you understand, in Austin and Killeen and Houston, El Paso and Rio Grande and Galveston, they got down there and got in U-Hauls and bought all kind of gifts and pampers and fruits and waters and wipes and medications and things to take care of those brothers and sisters. And America was so thoroughly shamed and embarrassed that this hate group, as you like to call us, because of the disgusting Southern Poverty Law Center, you understand, that I hope the Lord done COVID it all out of existence by now. They declare us a damn hate group. We going into cartel territory to take care of brothers and sisters, and the cartel let us through. You better not do it because the Lord ain't with you, but the Lord is with the ISUPK. You understand? And we went down there and took care of those brothers, and now America trying to somewhat halfway treat brothers and sisters right, man, which is too little, too late. And they owe so much more to the children of Israel from all the wealth that they have amassed by having us here in captivity. And the Lord said, "For because of their pride, cities shall be troubled, and houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity on his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread." That's what he's talking about. And for great tribulation. Verse 20, behold, saith God, saith the Most High, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, to respect me, which they don't right now, which are far from the rising of the sun. You got that land of the rising sun over there in Japan in the east, from the south, from the east, from Lebanon, to turn themselves one against another, to fight each other with world war, and repay the things that they have done to them. Everybody gonna pay back all the wrongs that have been done. Verse 21, like as they do yet this day unto my chosen. What they doing to us, this is why the Lord gonna do it to them. So will I also do also, and recompense in their bosom. When it says in their bosom, it's talking about your chest. That's old black man talk for I'm gonna put it in your chest. Say it with your chest. That's black man talk. This is a nigga that wrote this. This ain't no white man. Thus saith the Lord God, the Most High Power. My right hand shall not spare sinners. That's why we got to stop eating pork. We got to stop getting high. You can't have sex with another brother's woman. You can't go be with another nation of people. You understand? You can't go voting for your leaders. You can't join the oppressor's military and his police force. You cannot do that. If you're already in there, don't go AWOL. Finish out your time, don't re-enlist and get out. But most importantly, get in the ISUPK. That's the most important thing. Is you thinking you having a wonderful career, you don't know. You working, enjoying your career, getting your pay grade and all of this. They can really send your simple behind to World War III. China got warships too. This ain't you sitting out in the water dropping bombs and missiles on, landlocked countries. China in the water too. You got destroyers facing each other. You launch a missile, they launch a missile. You're going to die in that ocean, just like they going to die in that ocean. You want some ship, some destroyer in the white man's navy, used to sitting out in the water dropping bombs from miles and miles away. Well, guess what? The Chinese, the Arabs, and Russians, they got military subs too. They got missiles too. They got turrets too. And you're going to be in the water getting shot at just like they're going to be in the water getting shot at. It ain't going to be no more, you got the superior fighting power and force and you just dog and bomb everybody like how America has been used to. God said he's going to repay this place, which is why you were supposed to be separate from this place, unlike what Martin Luther King taught. You understand? He said, my right hand shall not spare sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. All you sisters having abortions, killing these babies, you think that the Lord is on your side. You better get in the Isupk. That blood from those babies that you murdered, the Lord charging you with those babies. You understand? You come in here, change your life, repent from that evil that you did. Don't be talking about no, I'm pro-choice and all of that. You supporting a murderer. The number one leading cause of death on the entire planet is abortion. Nothing openly, freely, and legally kills, unalives more human life on the planet than abortion. You understand? That's the leading cause of death every single year, everywhere. You understand? Is abortion. The Lord going to charge sinners for shedding innocent blood. That's a murder. You understand? Black women in America commit more murders than anyone on the planet every single year, every single day. It's about 1,200 abortions that's all done damn near by sisters here in America every single day in this country. Like, brothers and sisters, you got to repent from this evil. If you had an abortion, you were some evil bastard, some brother and sister did evil, or some brother that talked sisters into getting abortions, and you didn't unalive somebody or something. Repent from that evil and become a brand new brother or sister. That's what Christ died for. Christ died so that you can get the opportunity to change your life from who you were, so that you can be raised up in the proper society where everyone obeys the Most High. You understand? That's why you coming in. So other brothers and sisters can benefit from a society built that is filled with other brothers and sisters that all obey and serve the Lord, that the Lord will protect the entire body. You understand? Like, that's the purpose. So that's what the Lord is saying. All of these things is going forth. Lord willing, we'll continue right there. We over the time. We'll continue right there. Lord willing, next week. All right, we're going to end it there. Just make sure, brothers and sisters, you pay your tithes. Go right to isupk.com and they have the link to take you right to the school. Make sure you pay your tithes there. All right, support this truth. Like, share, and subscribe. Any of the videos, all Isupk videos that you see. You understand? And with that, I'll give one courtesy salute to the brothers. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Barakatham. To the sisters, Yahweh Shamar. Alathan by Hashem Yahushua. With that, class dismissed. Wow.